Hello everyone. Today I want to give an introduction to this tool known as Zotero. So as you can see in this table of contents, I will first give a very brief overview of Zotero, answer the question what is Zotero, and then I'll give you a few demos of how to use this tool, and then finally I will share with you some tips on using Zotero. So first of all, what is Zotero? Basically, it's a computer software for research literature management. Okay, so as researchers, we have to look into different literature in order to do our own research. So it's very important for us to keep track of all the research articles and also monographs. Right, so Zotero can help us collect all the research literature from online databases, and also if you have a collection of PDFs already, you can also import the PDFs into Zotero in one go, and then you can save the PDFs into different collections based on the topics. So there's Microsoft Word plugin for Zotero. So with that plugin, you will be able to generate the bibliography automatically according to the different styles that you like to use. And also I would like to talk about some of the advanced features of Zotero, including full-text search. That will be very helpful if you want to write a research article, you want to figure out how to use certain words according to the literature. And also notes with text, and as well as the related items. Right. The first thing I want to introduce is how to install Zotero. So basically you just go to the Zotero website, zotero.org. If you go over there, there will be a page for download. Actually, you can see the download button right here. And basically you just download this, and then there's also a connector. Well, actually there are two things you need to download. One is the standalone version of Zotero, because I'm using Windows right now. So you can see here this Zotero 5.0 for Windows. If you are using Mac or Linux systems, then you can go to the respective pages to download different versions. But then in addition to this standalone Zotero tool, you also need to download another plugin for your browser, which is called Zotero Connector. Okay, so because I'm using Chrome right now, so that's where I need to install Chrome Connector. If you're using other browser like Firefox or browsers, then the connector for that particular browser will also show up. Right, so I would assume that you have already installed the Zotero in your computer along with the connector for the browser, right? So if you haven't done that, maybe you can pause your video now and try to figure that out before you can continue watching this video. Once you have your Zotero installed, you will be able to actually see the Zotero. You should be able to see the Zotero right here, right? So this would be the interface for you to look at. So as you can see, you can actually create different collections based on the topics, based on the different project that you are working on. So I have opened one collection folder that is empty right now because I'm going to do some demonstration to download some PDF and stuff. And as you can see, I try to also have one folder for my PhD thesis, and then underneath that I have some sub collections for each of my chapters. So that's what I did when I worked on my PhD thesis. So if you are working on your thesis, you might want to do the same. Once you have the Zotero installed, let's try to look at just one page right here. So this would be a research article from Science Direct. Okay, you have already installed the connector, Zotero connector, so you will be able to see here, top right corner, there's this envelope. So you have to first select a particular folder in Zotero. So suppose you want to save the article information in this particular folder, then you just select this folder and then you click on this one. So and then you can see at the bottom right corner here, this item is being saved. Because on this page I have full access to the PDF, as a matter of fact, this connector is going to save not only the bibliography but also the full text PDF. So that will be very helpful, because then you don't have to actually go and download the PDF. Instead, the PDF will be downloaded for you automatically by Zotero. But again, so now we have both all the bibliographical information of this article, and also the full text PDF. And one thing you can do right away is right click on the PDF, and you will be able to change the name, rename the file from the parent metadata. So if you want your PDF file name to be consistent with the bibliographical information of this article, then you can just rename file based on the metadata. Okay, so then you can see file name has been changed right away. Well, importing research articles from the online databases would be one way to import whatever research articles you are working on. Here's another way, which is to Google Scholar. Right? So I actually used the advanced Google Scholar search right here. So what I did is I'm asking for journal articles from this particular journal, English for academic purposes. I didn't specify the dates, so from any time from these journals, but then I want research articles with the word identity, the title of the article, so that's what I want. So then I did the search. I was able to find 9 articles from this particular journal with the word identity in the title. And then you can see there's this button here, and you can save whatever articles are available here. You can pick a few, or you can select all, and then say OK. Alright, because this is Google Scholar, not Science Direct, that means not all the articles, the PDFs are available, but whenever it is available, Zotero will try to download it. Okay, so if it cannot, then if you go to the Zotero collection, then you will see actually there are a few the PDFs have been downloaded. Okay, from the Google Scholar search, and some of them would be with PDF and other without. But I want to also share with you another way to find the PDFs, which is very convenient. That is, it's called SciHop to find the PDF. Okay, so if you just find usually the DOI. Okay, so if you have the DOI, then you can article. For example, if I have a DOI for this particular article, I just copy and then I go to SciHop, and then I will be able to open and get my PDF right away. Right. So once I have the PDF, it will take a little while, but once I have the PDF, I can actually import the PDF to the Zotero. What happened is, suppose I save this PDF somewhere. Let's say I save it in, and then I can go to the folder to find my. So I was able to just attach the PDF here. So what I can do, it could be multiple PDFs, by the way. Right click here, and then there will be one option in the menu. It says retrieve metadata for PDF. Actually, to use this feature, you will have to install the PDF tools. Alright, what you can do if you are using it the first time, you can just open preferences, and then you can install this whatever tool that you are asked to install. It will be downloaded, and then it will be installed, and then it will be available to extract the metadata from the PDF. So once the tool is installed, you can then retrieve the metadata, and your computer has to be online in order to do that. Once it is done, you can see that actually the PDF will be under this new item. All the data is extracted from the PDF file. Okay, so imagine you have like 20 or even 100 PDF. You can just drag all the PDFs into this Zotero, and then you can select all the files, and then you can extract the metadata from the PDF, and you will be able to have a collection of all the articles in your Zotero database. Okay, so I think that would be very helpful, especially for people who have already got numerous PDFs in your computer folder. Then this is very nice feature. So we're going to move on to look at some other items in our agenda. So I just did that, import a PDF from SciHop to Zotero. So the next thing I want to demonstrate is sometimes you might want to import the items and the abstracts into your Zotero collection, not necessarily the PDF, because you just want to look at the abstract and you can decide whether a particular study is relevant or not. So then what you can do is just go to ScienceDirect. That's one of the most popular databases for creating literature. You can do whatever search you'd like. So suppose I want to look at the work of a particular scholar, Ken Hyland. I just searched for specific author and I got Ken Hyland, and suppose I want his articles from 2007 to 2011. Alright, so I just want journal articles, and I go and search. So with this search, I will be able to find here like 12 results. So what I can do is I want to export all the information into a file. So I will select the file format as bibtext, and I want citations and abstracts. So I would be able to export the file, and once I get the file, I can then go to Zotero. So once we have the file here, what we can do is we go to import, and then we can select this particular file. So in that file, actually there are 12 items. What Zotero did is to create a new collection based on the file's name, because the name is science bracket 1. I did another download earlier. Now we would have all these 12 items from that file. Okay, so this is one way you can potentially import numerous abstracts based on your search in ScienceDirect. And once you have the abstract, and also the abstract is right here. Okay, so you have the abstract and you have the title, you have the basic information, and you can review them. And if you decide, okay, I actually want the full text PDF, then you can go ahead and based on the DOI to find the PDF, and you can attach the PDF here. So what you can do is just add attachment and then attach a stored copy of the file. This is how you will be able to get a PDF. Right, so that would be another way to import abstracts into your Zotero collection. So the next thing I want to demonstrate is in Microsoft Word, we need to download and install the Zotero plugin. So that would be something for you to figure out. Okay, so you have to go to the Zotero website to download the Word plugin. And once it is installed, you will see the Zotero plugin right here, and then you will be able to add citations. Okay, so imagine you have a document like a thesis. What you can do is, well, I'm going to talk about a non-integral citation first. Okay, so we have a non-integral citation of just one source. So what you can do here is you can just, let's add citation, and the first time you add a citation, the plugin will ask you about the document preferences. Okay, so you just pick APA, and then you will have this little box here, and maybe you can get a classic view. And suppose you want Hyland 202, so you want to search for title, creator, and year only, not everything, because if it's everything, then it will search the full text. So you want to go to title, creator, year, and then you just put Hyland and 202, and make sure that your the whole collection. So you have Hyland 202. So suppose you want to just cite this one, and then you just select this one and you say OK. So now you can see you have Hyland 202 cited in field code, so you can just delete the original one. So you have this one cited. So that would be the single sources. For multiple sources, it's quite similar. Again, add citation and go to classic view. Suppose this time you want to cite two authors. You want to cite Flower Dew 1999, But because you are citing more than one sources, so you have to select this button here, which is multiple sources. So then this article, this source will be selected, but then you can go to Highland. So search for Highland 209, and you get another article or even book. So you have the book. Alright, so and then once you are done, you can just click OK. So this way you'll be able to cite Flowerdew 1999 plus Highland 209. Alright, so again you can see the field code here. So that would be the non-integral citation. So for integral citation, it's a bit more complicated, just slightly more complicated, because here you actually put the author's name outside the bracket. So you need to put the year only in a bracket. So what you should do is, again, you add citation, and then you go to Highland, you search for Highland 202, and suppose you want to cite this one or maybe a different one. So what you need to do here is to suppress author. Once you click select suppress author, then the author's name won't show up in the citation, and that's what we need, right? So you just click OK, and now you can see 202 is in field code, but then the author's name is not in the field code because you have suppressed the author's name. So you have the author's name outside the bracket. So that's what you need. So that's how we can use the Word Zotero plugin to cite the sources. And once we are done, we can then just insert a bibliography. So when you click insert bibliography, what will happen is, for all the studies or research articles or whatever sources that you have cited using the Zotero plugin in the document, bibliography will be generated automatically. So it will be one-on-one correspondence. Right? So you have one Highland 202 here, you will be able to have 202 here. Alright. Okay, I think the reason why we have Ken Highland here is probably because of the confusing over the first name. So I guess one thing you have to fix is that make sure that all the names are being consistent. Okay, so that's very important, but I'm not going to go into the details here, but I think you get the idea. Okay, so with the Word plugin, you will be able to use the Zotero to cite different sources in a very convenient way. So the next thing I want to demonstrate is the Fulltext search. This is also very helpful, especially you are unsure about how to use a particular word. So what you can do here is you can search, you can go to attachment content. Okay, so attachment content is actually, we are referring to different attachments including PDFs. So suppose I want to search for PDFs that contain the word identities, because I'm not sure about how to use the word identities in my research article. It could be any other words. So what you can do is just search. So here we go. When I search for the word identities, I'm looking for the attachment content that contains the word identities. Then I will be able to find all these items with attachment. So if I want to look at a particular item here, I can just open this, and then in the PDF I can try to search for identities again, and that will help me to find sentences with the word identities. Okay, so that will be one way for me to look for examples that can illustrate the use of a particular word. Right? So, and you can then just open the PDF and then search for identities. So you can also, if you think this save is very important, maybe you want to refer to this save later, then what you can do is to save the search. Okay, so once you save the search, it will show up right here. So actually I did save search here, especially for the journal. If I want to look at research articles from a particular journal, I just save a search, and then I can, with one click, I can access all the journals, all the articles from that journal. Okay. So that's the full text search. I think it's helpful. And then we can move on to look at the notes. So when you write the notes in Zotero, there are two options. One is you can just add a new standalone note, which means that note would not be related to any other items. It's going to be independent. Another possibility is you could also add a child note. So, for example, I have this article genre as social action, and I can add a note. Then I will be able to have a note here, and I can also edit this in a separate windows. So I can take some notes here. That would be very helpful if you, after reading the research articles or the monograph, you have some ideas, you want to put it down in words, then this will be very helpful. Along with the notes, you can also select a few other items as related items. Okay, so I think this is another important feature, because when you take these notes, when you write these notes, you are not just based on this particular book or article. You could be citing some other items as well. So if you just click here to include some related items, so that would give you another menu for you to search for other items. Okay, so suppose I want to relate these notes to, again, one article by Highland. So I just search for Highland 2013, and I select this particular article. So I just click OK. Then you can see there's a related item. The item would show up here, the article I just chose. If you click on this item, you will be able to find this particular article, and it's actually reciprocal, which means if you look at this item here and go to related, you can see the notes as well. So you click the notes again, you go back to the notes. This is a very useful function, because with the related item you are able to create a web or a network of different research articles, monographs, and also your own notes. Because intertextuality is a very important feature in research literature. Whenever you are doing research, you need to tap into this huge web or network of literature all the time. So if you are using related items, you will be able to recognize and also create or replicate this network in your own Zotero database and Zotero collection. And then whenever you're reading an item or research article in Zotero, you're not just reading one article, you actually will have access to a network, a web of literature. So I think that's very important. Whenever you are building your Zotero collection, this will be a very useful feature, take full advantage of. Final I want to share with you would be tags. So tags is also quite useful, but one thing is, whenever you download some items from the web, these items also come with tags. So maybe you want to unselect this one, show automatic, and then you will only see tags that you created. But I think somehow it's still not everything. It probably also includes something you don't want. So that means you need to sort of delete some of the tags, and then you only keep those that's important for you. For example, I have a tag known as idea. So whenever I have some ideas, I will put a tag to that note. So I was thinking, okay, this is a good idea. Maybe I want to further develop these ideas either in my thesis chapter or in a new manuscript. But well, this is just one example. Maybe I've been overusing this tags, because there's just so many ideas, it's not possible to pursue all of them. So maybe we want to use these tags more sparingly. But I'm just trying to illustrate, this is one possibility. You can use this tag to manage all these different items, including the research articles, including the notes that you created. So I think the tagging system is also something you want to spend more time on. You want to develop your own tagging system to manage all this different information. Okay, finally I want to share with you a few tips on using Zotero. I think the first thing you should try to do is to develop a habit of collecting and managing literature regularly, because we have literature being constantly updated. Okay, so every quarter we will have some new research articles available. So it's very important to try to keep track of the new development, to look into the new literature. You don't have to read the whole thing, of course. Usually just read the titles and you read the abstract, you will have some basic idea whether this particular study is relevant to your own research. I would also recommend this app called Browsing. Okay, if you download it into your mobile phone or your iPad, then you will be able to, with your privilege at the HKBU, if you input your credential, you will be able to access to a large amount of literature in your mobile devices. And if you find a particular article that is very interesting, then you can save that PDF into your Google Drive, and from Google Drive you can just then import it to Zotero. So that will be that's how you can update your Zotero collection regularly. And also, after reading a research article, you should try to write up a few take-home messages in your own words, as Zotero. I have to confess, I didn't do it all the time, but I think I should have done that. Because if you spend some time reading one research article, but after reading it, you didn't have any notes to help you or remind you, what this research article is about or what you have learned from it, then most likely you're going to forget about it later on. Okay, so the whole point of having Zotero, having all these tools to write notes, is so that later on it can remind you. You don't have to read it over. You can then continue your efforts. You can build upon the efforts that you made last time. Okay, so again, this is kind of really straightforward and obvious advice, but the key here is actually to practice it so that you will be able to actually build your knowledge about the literature. And the third tip would be, why are you reading literature? It's because you want to write your own paper, you want to do your own research, right? So whenever you are reading other people's work, maybe you will have some new ideas for further research, then just write it down, okay? The thing is, once in a while, we will have some brilliant ideas. But this is really a matter of probability. Maybe you have 100 ideas, and then out of 100 ideas, you have 1 or 2 that's really good. But without constantly generating ideas, it's not possible for you to stumble upon a really good one. So that's another important tip, which is you want to keep coming up with new ideas, and you want to write it down, and then maybe later on you can pursue these ideas in your own research projects. Okay, and finally, I think it's very important and also very valuable to share Zotero with others, because this project is an open source software project, which is very different from Mendeley or EndNote. Those tools are supported by commercial interests, but Zotero is completely free and completely open source. And actually, we can also develop our own, new tools, third-party apps based on Zotero. So this is an open ecosystem. So it's worth supporting. Okay. So thank you for watching my